Same time, with a huge bang, the snake mutants have burst into car 1. Now they're all packed rigidly against the driver's cab door. As more people have died, the horde of snake mutants has only grown. The cab door was already smaller and narrower to begin with. Now they slam into it with all their strength. I can almost hear the lock breaking. We're running out of time. I grip one of the makeshift Molotovs in each hand and turn my head toward the windshield. The emergency hammer was used up by those 3 bastards in the car. What are we supposed to break this glass with now? Easy, Naomi says in a low voice. Before I can even come up with an idea, she leaps onto the slanted control panel, twists her body slightly to gather force, and drives her fist straight into the center of the windshield. The glass shatters. Jump! Roman reacts instantly. He grabs Priya, who's still frozen in shock, shoves Silas forward and leaps out through the opening first. Naomi follows right after, landing lightly on her feet. I go last. One hand braced on the window frame, I glance back. The snake mutants have already burst into the driver's cab. They're even letting out hissing sounds, strange, gasping noises. Stay calm, I count silently in my head. I bring the cloth fuse of one of the Molotovs up to the lighter's flame. The cloth catches fire instantly, an orange flame dancing. With all my strength, I hurl the Molotov toward the cluster of snake mutants at the doorway. With a bang, the bottle shatters. The high-proof liquor splashes everywhere. It ignites the moment it hits the flame. Blazing fire explodes outward, instantly engulfing the 2 or 3 snake mutants at the front. They let out screams that mix snake hisses with human wails. The air fills with the stench of burning flesh mixed with burning alcohol. They hover at the doorway, seemingly wary of the flames. I don't hesitate. I turn and leap out through the shattered windshield. The tunnel's emergency lights give off a dim glow, barely illuminating our surroundings. Roman, Naomi, and the others have already regrouped, watching the train warily. Just then, an indescribable foul wind presses down from above. I whip my head up, and I see it. The massive body of the giant snake, filling nearly half the tunnel. At some point it slid down from the outer wall of the train, rearing up high, its triangular head bigger than a millstone, its blood-red vertical pupils locking onto us, the ones who slipped through its net. It seems to be somewhat confused and irritated by the strong smell of alcohol on us, flicking its tongue in and out constantly, but clearly this bit of alcohol scent isn't affecting it very much. Its massive body slithers forward, closing in on us. Holding the remaining Molotov in my hand, I swallow hard. Then I shove the people next to me hard. You guys run ahead! Naomi realizes what I'm about to do. She immediately grabs the others and starts running like mad. I stand my ground, counting down in my head. The moment the giant snake lowers its head, aiming right at my skull, opening a mouth wide enough to swallow a whole person, I hurl the burning bottle straight into the giant snake's gaping maw. The Molotov bursts. It ignites inside the snake's mouth. The giant snake lets out a hissing scream, thrashing its huge body wildly, violently shaking its head, trying to fling out the flames in the burning liquid inside. I don't dare linger. I take off running. The tunnel echoes with the agonized shrieks of the giant snake and the snake mutants, and the crackling of burning flesh. But we all know this fire won't hold it off for long. We have to get out of here. Luckily, before long, we spot a glimmer of light about 70 or 80 meters ahead. There's a platform up there, Silas gasps, his voice full of excitement. While running, I can't help looking back. The giant snake is thrashing on the ground. The Molotov has been spat out, but the flames are still burning, even catching onto its body. But soon, ignoring the flames still burning on it, it starts dragging its massive body after us again. And the snake mutants, still on fire, crawl out of the subway, stumbling after us. They're this relentless. While I push my legs to run as hard as they can, I sort through the pieces in my mind. The college couple and the middle-aged man are already dead. They died in the giant snake's mouth. But the giant snake is still chasing us. That means those 3 weren't its target. So then, the target is among the 4 of us survivors. Me, Roman, Silas, Priya. I glance sideways. Priya, is it her? The light ahead grows clearer, and it really is the outline of a platform. Hope acts like a shot of adrenaline, squeezing one last burst of energy out of our exhausted bodies. We sprint toward it. Finally, we tumble and scramble our way to the edge of the platform. But the sight in front of us hits like a bucket of ice water, completely dousing the fire of hope we just lit. The platform is fitted with fully sealed glass platform screen doors, completely separating the tracks from the platform area. Through the thick glass we can see the platform inside is completely empty. The floor is rough, unfinished concrete. The walls are exposed gray concrete. A single lonely pillar stands there, with no advertisements, no signs, and none of the usual waiting benches. There is a light source in the distance, but it's natural light coming in through some unsealed opening high above, not from any lighting inside the station. The whole space is filled with the dead silence of an unfinished, abandoned place. I immediately pull out my phone to check our location. The moment the map loads, my heart sinks into the pit of my stomach. We're not on any known, operational subway line at all. At some point, without any of us noticing, the train veered off the main line and drove into a new line that hasn't opened yet. No wonder the platform is empty. Behind us, the heavy sound of the giant snake slithering. Break the door, smash the glass, and climb up. Roman is the first to react. He bends down, picks up a loose chunk of stone from the tracks, and slams it against the glass screen door with all his strength. A dull thud. The glass door doesn't budge, leaving only a tiny white mark on the surface. We frantically look for anything we can use, slamming at the glass like maniacs. The pounding echoes across the empty platform, but this reinforced tempered glass in front of us is horrifyingly solid. Damn it, what the hell is this glass? Roman kicks it in fury. The giant snake has closed to within 30 meters. Most of the flames on its body have gone out, but wisps of black smoke still rise from between its charred scales. And the snake mutants are lunging at us, teeth and claws bared. It's life or death. My eyes rapidly scan across the glass door and lock onto the bottom of it. That's where the sliding door meets the ground track, the weakest point of the entire door structure. Hit the bottom of the door where it connects to the track, I shout hoarsely. At the same time, I crouch down and hand the sharpest piece of concrete I have to Roman. Roman and Naomi understand immediately. They crouch, swing the stones, and with all their strength, slam them into the bottom edge of the glass door, where it meets the metal track. Finally, after a few dull thuds, a faint but clear cracking sound comes through. Centered on the point of impact, the cracks spread like they're alive, reaching upward and outward, but at the same time, a foul, rank wind hits our faces. The giant snake's massive head is now less than 10 meters behind us. We're running out of time. The door isn't fully broken yet. Out of the corner of my eye, in a pile of concrete by the tracks, I spot a discarded rebar rod stuck in at an angle, about a meter long, with a hook on one end. A decisive thought rises to the top of my mind. There's no time to hesitate. I rush over, yank out the rebar, and turn back to Roman and Silas, who are still frantically pounding on the door. I shout to them, the moment the door breaks, get through and don't look back. Then I grip the cold rebar tight, take a step sideways, and put myself between them and the monsters. I'll draw them away. I'll hold them off as long as I can. My legs are shaking, but I know this is the only way to buy everyone time. Someone has to do it. But just as I gather my courage, the moment I'm about to take that step, the weight in my hand suddenly disappears. Naomi is standing beside me before I know it. She snatches the rebar out of my hand and in the same motion shoves into my hand the bloody sharp stone she had just been using to pound the door. With those skinny little arms and legs of yours, what could you possibly block? The corner of her mouth twitches into an almost wild grin. Beneath the sweat-drenched hair on her forehead, her eyes shine with startling intensity. I'm a provincial kickboxing champion. I fight for a living. Leave this to me. Once you break the door open, I'll come catch up with you right away. Before her words even finish, she spins around and charges right at the wounded giant snake and the snake mutants. She launches herself into the attack. Her figure moves so fast, all I can see is a streak of black. Watch out, I cry out involuntarily. Naomi doesn't look back. She really is skilled. Her movements are fast and precise. The moment the giant snake dips its head to bite, she drops low and slides beneath its neck in a hair-raising maneuver. Using the momentum, she swings the rebar up with the full force of her body and with a loud clang, drives it into the wound on the snake's neck where the Molotov had burned it and the scales are peeling, instantly drawing the hatred of every creature there. The giant snake's blood-red eyes lock onto her, abandoning us for the moment. Its massive body twists around, and along with the remaining snake mutants, surrounds Naomi in the middle. I don't dare look anymore. I can only grip the stone in my hand and hammer at the door like a madman. Faster! I turn my head back and shout hoarsely at Roman and Silas, my eyes burning red. Roman clenches his teeth, slamming the stone down with the kind of force that could shatter bone, again and again against the cracks at the bottom of the glass door. Silas and Priya squeeze in next to him, kicking with their feet, clawing with their hands. With a sharp crack, the bottom of the glass door finally breaks open. A hole about the size of a basin, jagged around the edges but big enough for a person to squeeze through. Silas grabs the stunned Priya and shoves her through, then follows right after her. I turn my head to look at Naomi. She just used a beautiful spinning kick to send a snake mutant flying, but the giant snake's tail whips at her like a steel whip. She barely manages to jump up and dodge it. The door is open! Come back! Come back now! I scream at the top of my lungs. Naomi hears me. She spins around and sprints toward us. Her speed is still incredible. She's less than 5 meters away from us. She's even reaching out her hand. But the very next second, Naomi's forward sprint freezes mid-motion. The rebar in her hand clangs as it drops onto the concrete floor. I stand there frozen, shaking all over, but Roman wraps his arms around my waist and hauls me bodily onto the platform. Go! Don't let her die for nothing! Roman's voice is raw. He pushes me, along with the still sobbing Priya and Silas, deeper into the platform. The four of us run blindly through the empty, desolate, unfinished platform. We just keep running. Our hearts feel like they're about to burst. Tears, sweat, and dust smear across our faces, but no one dares to stop. We soon find a staircase going up, leading to an exit. A faint flame of hope flickers to life again. But when we reach the top of the stairs, a heavy, rust-covered metal rolling shutter door blocks our final path. The door is tightly shut, sealed without a gap. Next to it is a dead electronic lock control box. We push and pull with everything we've got, but the shutter door doesn't budge. Only dull banging echoes through the stairwell. From the tunnel below, the sound of pounding footsteps rises. The glass door at least gave us a chance, but this metal shutter door has cut off our escape completely. We're trapped. No way forward, with pursuers behind us. Damn it, are we really going to die in this hellhole? Roman slams his fist against the shutter door hard, producing a dull thud. My phone screen lights up softly in the darkness. A new text message appears on the screen. It's from the number the police have been using to stay in contact with us since we first called. We've located you. You're at the terminal station of the unopened C7 test line. Are you still alive? Station staff are heading to the 5 emergency exits to manually open them from the outside. Hold on. Repeat, hold on. 5 exits. I whip my head up to look at the 3 of them beside me. The police just sent word. Staff are on the way to open the doors. This station has 5 emergency exits. My voice is hoarse with urgency. We can't all wait at this one exit. That thing, the snake and those creatures, if we stick together we either all die or all live. If we split up, each of us guarding a different exit, our chances of surviving go up. I have my own selfish reason for this too. If one of us here really is the giant snake's target, then splitting up gives the other 3 a chance to live. Roman and Silas agree immediately. I glance at Priya, wondering if she'll refuse, but she looks at me, then at Roman and Silas, her lips twitching slightly, and finally nods in agreement. Priya is small and thin, the slowest runner, so we decide to let her stay right where she is, at this exit. The other 3 of us take off in 3 different directions. Once I reach my assigned exit, I hide behind a thick concrete pillar, gripping the sharp stone in my hand tightly, every muscle in my body tense, my ears straining, trying to catch any sound from inside the station. The minutes crawl by. Then suddenly from inside the station, clear, violent sounds of fighting reach my ears. Not long after, I clearly hear a small explosion echo through the station. Blood rushes to my head. Someone must have been found. The fighting doesn't last long. It gradually dies down. I clench my fists, tense, staying on high alert. But the entire station falls into silence. No more sounds of fighting come, and nothing comes chasing after me either. Is it really over? A clear thought rises in my mind. Was my theory right? The giant snake had a specific target. After the 4 of us split up, it only went in that one person's direction. And once that person died, they stopped killing. That's also why, at the very beginning, everyone in cars 1, 2, and 3 managed to escape, while the ones who ran in the same direction as the snake's target didn't survive at all. Who is that person? Is it Priya? A few minutes pass. The heavy metal gate ahead of me suddenly lets out an ear-piercing grinding sound, and slowly rises, opening a narrow gap. The outside air rushes in. The door is open. A subway worker in a fluorescent vest, with a shocked face, appears behind the gap. Is anyone in there? Using the last of my strength, I stumble and crawl through the gap of the still opening door. Outside is the edge of a construction site, overgrown with weeds. In the distance, police lights flash. A massive wave of relief and exhaustion hits me at the same time. Everything goes black, and I lose consciousness completely. When I come to again, the hospital's distinctive smell of disinfectant fills my nose. My mother's red, swollen eyes appear in my line of sight. The first question I ask her is, who was the last one to die last night? My mother's face darkens. She sighs. A girl, and that young man in the black cap. They died together. I heard the girl was the first to get hurt. The man in the black cap heard the noise and ran down to save her, and that was it. Just as I suspected. It really was Priya. But Roman. My heart sinks. A tangled rush of emotions wells up inside me. Roman. The man who first slammed the door shut and was called cold-blooded, but in the end turned back to save someone. How many people died in total? I close my eyes. Flashes of the terrified faces in cars 4, 5, and 6 pass through my mind. In those last 3 cars, around 20 or 30 people. My mother's voice trembles with the terror of hindsight. The police said that on that last train, counting the driver in total, only you and one boy with dyed blonde hair survived. What? I snap my eyes open. How is that possible? What about the people in cars 1, 2, and 3? Didn't they get off early? I clearly saw those cars were empty. My mother shakes her head, clearly knowing little herself. They didn't say much, just that it was an extremely serious case, and that the people in the front cars are gone too. Every inch of me breaks out in goosebumps from the shock. It's only later, when I go to the police station to give a detailed statement, that a veteran detective tells me the truth. But this truth is enough to make anyone who hears it break out in a cold sweat. Under the floors of the first 3 subway cars, someone had installed sophisticated mechanical devices in advance. The veteran detective pulls up a simulation animation. Once the train reached a preset location, which was shortly after your attack began, the entire floors of the first 3 cars would split like 2 doors, opening suddenly from the middle to both sides. In the animation, the completely unaware passengers fall into sudden weightlessness, screaming as they plunge into the dark, rapidly receding tracks below. My stomach churns. I almost throw up. So that snake, those snake mutants, they weren't selectively attacking only the back cars. My voice shakes. It's because they knew that the people in the front cars had no chance of surviving. That's one way to look at it, the detective says with a nod. But if that's the case, then my theory that the giant snake was hunting a specific target doesn't hold up. So why did Priya still end up dead in the end? And why, after those things finished attacking Priya, did they stop coming after the rest of us? I asked the detective, what about that girl? How did she die? From what we've gathered, she deliberately charged at it in the end. She actively ran toward the giant snake. The snake didn't find her. After a moment of silence, he takes a sealed phone out of an evidence bag and hands it to me. This is Priya's phone. There's an audio recording she made in advance. He taps play. A tired voice heavy with guilt, a young woman's voice, comes from the speaker. My name is Priya. I may be about to die. First, I want to say I'm sorry. I'm a PhD student in biology. I really love doing research. It's an obsession for me. So when I saw that project online, I didn't hesitate. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was so naive back then. I thought it was just ordinary biological gene enhancement research, something that could be used in medicine or specialized industries. Her voice catches. Through that research, they created those monsters. That giant snake had already killed many people. The more people it kills, the faster it mutates. I wanted to quit, but they threatened my family. They forced me to get on this train. The truth is, they wanted to kill me along with everyone else. This time they evolved the mutation venom inside the snake. People bitten and killed by the snake turned into walking corpses within a short time, basically like the zombies in the movies. They implanted a microbomb inside my body. If I revealed the truth to anyone in advance, they would remotely detonate it, so I didn't dare say anything. All I could do was shout that there was a snake. Her suppressed sobs come through the recording. I can't take it anymore. Watching those people die one by one, that woman in the leather jacket, I got her killed. If I had spoken up earlier, I can't let any more of you die. I know the giant snake's original genetic sequence has an instinct to track the pheromone marker on me. They use it to control me, and to make sure they can eliminate me. I understand it. I can hold it off longer. This is the only thing I can do to make up for what I've done. As for the bomb inside me, I have a way to detonate it. I think I might have a way to deal with it. Goodbye, strangers. Please tell my mom and dad from me I'm the one who let them down. The recording ends there. I sit there, stunned. The veteran detective's voice grows low. Based on the scene evidence and the autopsy, Miss Priya did in fact charge at the creature and draw its attention. Forensics also found fragments of a micro-detonator in her remains. At the very end, she wrapped her arms tightly around the mutated giant snake's head, then detonated the bomb herself. The blast and destructive force were concentrated on the snake's head. The head was destroyed. Once the giant snake was dead, the snake mutants whose bodies carried its mutation venom became corpses again. In my mind's eye, that thin, silent figure appears once more, and my heart suddenly aches. A few days after being discharged, Silas and I go to visit the families of Naomi, Roman, and Priya. At Naomi's home, I see the competition trophies displayed everywhere. Her mother tells me through tears that Naomi had just passed the exam to join the police this year, and was set to start in just 2 weeks. The pain in my chest is unbearable, and silently, I make a decision. The incident had a massive social impact, but to prevent public panic, the case is officially classified as a major transit accident, at least for now. Later, I press the police on whether they found the organization, but the officer only shakes his head, his face grim. Based on the leads left on Priya's computer, we found one of their hideouts in the suburbs, but it was already empty. All the core data and personnel had been moved out of the country. Interpol is currently conducting a joint investigation, and we've set up a special task force on our end. I've reviewed the on-site work records. He pauses and looks at me. One more thing. Based on some experimental records left at the scene, the mutated species they were researching may not be limited to snakes. My chest tightens. If they're not caught, then in the future, there will be countless more incidents like this. This time it was snakes. What will it be next time? As time passes, the subway incident gradually fades from public view, becoming a sealed and forgotten tragedy. A few years later, during a holiday, I take a road trip to the northwest with a few colleagues. Our car drives along a desolate highway. Endless Gobi Desert stretches out on either side. Suddenly, the colleague driving slams on the brakes. The tires screech against the sandy, gravelly road. What the hell is that thing? About 100 meters ahead, a massive, earthy yellow figure comes charging out from behind a sand dune, barreling toward our car at terrifying speed. Its size rivals that of an off-road vehicle. Twisted, jagged horns rise from its head. The most disturbing part is its skull. A gruesome crack nearly splits its head in half. It paws at the ground with its hooves, making the split skull even more terrifying to look at. After getting a clear look at it, everyone in the car actually becomes unusually calm, almost with a sense of, the other shoe finally dropped. The colleague in the back seat immediately tosses me a black metal case. I take out the gun inside, push open the car door, and face the charging beast. I drop to one knee, raise the weapon, and take aim. Without a moment's hesitation, I pull the trigger. There's no deafening gunshot, only a low hum. A pale blue pulse beam strikes the giant ram's skull in an instant. Its massive body sways, then crashes sideways to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust, and moves no more. The colleague from the driver's seat quickly grabs his toolkit and gas mask, gets out, and starts collecting samples. Yes, after the subway incident years ago, I changed jobs. I and the colleagues in this car with me are all members of the National Special Biothreat Response Center, because they had already fled abroad back then, and the task force couldn't track them down for a long time, but there was no way we were going to sit and wait to die. So the police established this organization, dedicated to researching mutant creatures and mutant viruses, preparing for a long, ongoing fight. After finishing the sample collection on the mutant ram, my colleague comes back and shoots me a sharp glare. Damn, you move fast. The first one to show up in years, and with just that one shot you snatched all the credit. I just smile and say nothing. On the distant horizon, sirens grow louder, drawing closer. Perhaps a new mission is about to begin.